Here's how to make a macrame plant hanger. Let's get started. In your kit, you'll have a wooden ring, 4 8-foot strands, 2 10-foot strands, and 1 1.5-foot strand. You will need to provide scissors and a measuring tape. I would also recommend finding a spot to hang your plant hanger while you're working on it. Let's get started. Use one of your 8-foot strands and grab both of the ends and pull them at the same rate until you reach the middle of the cord. Now you're going to loop that through the wooden ring and stick your fingers through the cord and pull through the ends of the cord. Pull this tight and you've got a lark's head knot. You're going to repeat this with the remaining 3 strings so that you'll have a total of 4 8-foot strings hanging down. Hanging technically there will be 8 because each string has been doubled. Also, it'll hang about 4 feet long because you've folded it in half. With the 2 10-foot strands, you're going to make lark's head knots, but this time by pulling the knot and then pulling the outside string, you're going to make the outside strand longer and the inside strand shorter. Your goal is to make the bottom of the inside strand hang at the same length as the 4-foot strands. It's okay if your strings don't hang perfectly even, as long as the outside strands are about 2 feet longer than the inside. Now we're going to make a half hitch knot. So this will be using the 2 longest cords that are on the outside. Take the right hand cord and make a backwards 4 with your fingers. Now you're going to put the left hand cord on top of that. And now, using the left cord, loop it behind all of the strands and pull it through the loop that you've just made on the right hand side. To tighten this, you're going to pull both of those 2 strands out and up to tighten it. You don't need it to be super tight, but it does need to be close. Now this is a spiral, so we do it again and again. So make a backwards 4 with your right hand strand, set the left hand cord on top, loop the left hand cord behind everything and pull it through to the front through the loop and tighten. Again, you're going to make a backwards 4 with your right hand, set the left hand cord on top, loop the left hand cord behind everything and pull it through the hole on the right hand side. You're going to tighten this and you will continue with this pattern again and again. You're going to tie about 20 of these knots, but you can also measure this by just tying knots until it's about 3.5 inches long. For the most part, you're just tying the knots until all of the strands are around the same place at the bottom. This is where we are sectioning off the cord to make the smaller spirals that go outwards. So take 4 cords, I like to use the outer one and 3 next to it, and you're going to do the same spiral pattern just on a smaller scale. So make a backwards 4 with the right cord, set the left over top and loop it over the 2 cords and through the hole and tighten. You're going to repeat this multiple times to make that spiral shape. This section will end up being about 3.25 inches long, but you can totally change this to your preference. It's really up to you. Using 4 new cords, you're going to repeat this pattern again. Your 2 swirls should land in about the same spot in length. If it's too long or too short, you can tie or remove knots so that it's your preferred same length. Using your 4 remaining cords, you're going to repeat this swirl pattern again. All of your swirls should now come to be about the same length. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but it should be pretty close. We're going to create a square knot using 4 of the cords from the previous swirl. So you're going to tie 1 half hitch knot way down below and then use a measuring tape to see how far down it is. Your goal is to have that top of the half hitch knot be about 11 inches from the bottom of that top swirl. You can adjust it up or down as needed. Once you've found that length, you're going to create the opposite side of a half hitch knot. So this time you'll make a 4 with your left cord, set the right cord on top, and loop the right hand cord behind and through the left hand loop and tighten to create a square knot. With your second set of 4 cords, you are going to this time use your first knot as a measurement estimate. So tie the half hitch knot we've been using this whole time, and you are going to pull it up until it sits at about the same height as the other knot. You can see how those tops of the knots are similar. Now you're going to tie the left hand side where you make the 4, right hand on top, and loop it through the back and tighten. One last time on that remaining strand. So I already tied that half hitch knot and measured it against my remaining 2 knots. And now I'm going to tie the left hand side by making a 4 with the left cord, right on top, right behind, and right through the loop, and tighten those strands together and make sure they're around the same height. You're going to make another square knot again, but this time the strands you're using are combined between 2 knots. So you'll take the left 2 strands from the right knot and the right 2 strands from the left knot to create 4 strands that are a combination of the 2. Now you're going to use these 4 to create the square knot. So the right hand goes on the top, the left over, and the left through the loop, and pull to tighten. Before tying the second half of the square knot, measure it, and it should be about 3 inches below the knots above it. Now you're going to finish the square knot by making a left 4, putting the right on top and through the loop on the left, and pulling to tighten. You're going to continue this with the other 2 sets of knots so that you're slowly creating a ring. Finish off your knot and then make sure that your strands are about the same length. It's time for your last knot, which is a gathering knot. So your first step is to pinch all of the hanging strings with this final string with a little bit of string hanging on top. You're going to make a loop and set it on top of all the strings with a large loop hanging below. Now you're going to wrap this string around everything, looping downwards as you go. Keep wrapping the strand around everything. You need at least 5 rows of loops, but you can do more if you'd like. Once you decide you've done enough loops, you're going to take the remainder of the string and pull it through that loop you made a little bit ago, and pull the entire string through. Once you pull your strand all the way through the loop, pull it a little to the left to keep the knots tight, and then you're going to pull up on the top string to tighten everything. To tighten everything, pull both the top and the bottom at the same time, which should also bring the knot into the gathering knot to hide it. Don't cut anything yet. Make sure that your gathering knot is about 2.5 to 3 inches below your square knots. If it isn't, you can slide it up or down. You do not need to completely redo the knot. You can just push it up or down. Now you get to cut that top string. Be careful not to cut anything else. And then to hide the little snippet, you can pull that bottom string, which will pull the knot down just a little bit. And now you can trim the bottom string to hide that one too. For this last step, you just get to trim the cords to whatever length you want. I usually trim it to the size of the shortest cord, but you can do however long or short you want, as long as there's a little bit below your gathering knot. Hang your planter and enjoy.